Let me ask you a question. What comes to your mind when you hear the name of Genghis Khan? The founder and the first great Khan of the Mongol Empire, which became the largest contiguous empire in history after his death. The Mongolian Empire is rooted in Inner Mongolia. Inner Mongolia is an autonomous region of northern China. When my friends invited me to join them on a trip to Inner Mongolia, I thought it's going to be a waste of time, but somehow I made my mind to join them because my impression of Inner Mongolia was nothing more than an underdeveloped, barren, deserted land full of uneducated and backward people. But guess what? Here the twist in the story comes. When we finally got to Inner Mongolia after a travel of about 3 hours from Beijing, I was shocked to see a totally different but beautiful Inner Mongolia, contrary to what I had imagined so far. It was at this point I started to realize that it is not the same Inner Mongolia anymore. It is now a land of skyscrapers equipped with modern transport systems, beautiful big supermarkets and shopping malls full of almost all international brand shops, variety of historical, architectural, tourist scenic spots inhabited by educated, civilized, friendly and warm-hearted people with rich culture and history, representing the pure, hardworking and resilient nature of the Inner Mongolian people. Nonetheless, you will be amazed by the way the green mountains, vast grasslands, beautiful deserts, lucid water rivers, diverse flora and fauna of Inner Mongolia have been preserved by both the people and their government. So, we started our 2 days trip by taking a 2 hours 40 minutes train from Beijing to Huhat City, which is the capital city of Inner Mongolia. The first place we visited was the Inner Mongolia Museum. It was a very nice museum with much focus on the ecological beauty of Inner Mongolia, displaying a diverse variety of flora and fauna. Then from the museum, we took a van to the Shila Rumen grassland where we were welcomed by the herders in a traditional Inner Mongolian way, which was so exuberant for us. Then we were guided to our yurts. The yurts were wonderful and designed in a way that gives you the opportunity to experience both the traditional Inner Mongolian vibes as well as the modernized vibes of today's Inner Mongolia. The yurts were equipped with 2 beds, lights, air conditioning, a TV, side tables, 2 chairs, a bathroom, and a big window. But the only shortcoming was that we didn't have hot water for showers and the water was freezing cold as the temperature was very low. After taking some rest in the yurt, we went horse riding in the grassland. Believe me, it was a lot of fun riding the horses, but because of our safety purpose, we were not allowed to ride the horses faster, but I wish if we could experience a bit faster ride. It was my first time riding a horse, so my excitement was over the roof. After the meal, we decided to try the ATV ride on the grassland in the evening. Now it's almost the dusk. While riding the ATV, we enjoyed the beautiful sunset view. Now it was late enough, we went to the yurts, took some rest, and then came out for late night fireworks and traditional Mongolian performances. The next morning, we woke up around 6 o'clock because we were told to be present for the breakfast at 6:30. The breakfast was very simple and healthy, nothing of much fancy, but the vibes were worthful. After the breakfast, we left for the Kubuchi Desert, which were on a 4 hours travel from the Sila Roman grassland. It is around 12 p.m. now that we arrived in the desert. The first thing that we did at the desert was taking a cable car to get to the desert. It was a bit far from the entry point because the Kabuji Desert was a fertile land before, but just recently, for the past couple of decades, the desertification started naturally. And now the land is still in the transition phase. So you have to take a cable car to get to the middle of the desert so that you can really feel the true vibes of a complete desert with beautiful sand dunes and pure therapeutic sand. The cable car took around 20 minutes to take us to the desert where I experienced camel ride for the first time in my life. It was a wonderful experience feeling the camel walking through the bumpy desert with hot sun and wind fighting to welcome you, each in their own gentle way. Next was the sand slide adventure, which looks very crazy and scary, but was not more than a fun, gentle, but rapid sand slide. The most horrific one was the zip line because of the high altitude. One of our friends was not even willing to try it in the first place, as she was scared to death. But yeah, finally she made it, and we were so proud of her.
Where's the other guy?
Oh, bravo! You did it!
Yay!
Later on, we went for a desert bike ride, which I thought that it wouldn't be a lot of fun, but it was a real adventure, as the track was very bumpy and I have to ride faster because if I ride slowly, then the bike would have slipped. There were times I really felt like falling down, and I already imagined myself being fallen on the sand with the bike over me, but somehow I managed to make it to the end of the track, and I can't express that feeling of achievement. I felt like if I conquer the desert. Here comes another desert adventure, the ATV ride. The wildest one, I guess, probably because of the driver. The driver was riding it so fast through the crest and trough of the desert track. One time I felt like falling upside down, and I was already imagining people reading about my death due to ATV crash in Inner Mongolia desert in newspaper. The desert adventures are not yet concluded. Here comes the final one, desert surfing car. Which was apparently a simple car, looks like a boat with a lot of passenger seat, but when the driver starts to drive, we started bumping into each other, and those who were not holding tight were feeling like falling down. I was trying to film and was trying to set the camera with one hand and holding myself with the other. I almost hit my head against my friend, but luckily I managed to hold myself. It was the craziest ride I ever had, I think. Now, it's almost 4 o'clock in the evening when we left for the train station, and we got to the train station right around 8 p.m. as most of us had our trains leaving around 8:30. Alright, so that was the story of my 2 days trip to Inner Mongolia. A wonderful and worthful experience of my life. If you ever get a chance, I would suggest just go for it without thinking a second time. I really hope you enjoy this adventurous and fun trip with me.